and get him back out here pretty quickly. So, with that, we'll open it up and bring up Gerald Patterson. Thanks.
As a quick overview, yes, it was a very exciting Saturday, very eventful. There's no question that there was a lot of offense taking place at that afternoon. A lot of events took place with double overtime. McCarty definitely had a great game. It was a great offensive effort. 7 receivers touched the ball, which definitely spreads it around. It gives you some opportunities there to move the ball down the field and put stress on the defense. Their offense was very explosive. They did a great job holding on the ball, maintaining ball control. It was a strong challenge and great effort by the Owls. This week's overview, preparing for Houston. They're throwing the ball quite a bit. Start out the first game, not so much as a throwing team, but over the last 2 games have been throwing the ball a substantial amount and are moving the ball with a lot of different people being involved in their offense. Defensively, they're still being challenged at times, but they are a strong team, and they're a team that we're definitely going to be a formidable opponent this week. Are there any questions?
Joe, do you have an update on Taylor?
I sure do. Taylor underwent an upper body extremity irritation, in which he's being treated for, and he's responding to very well at this particular time, and we're very optimistic that everything will be fine.
So right now, going into the week, other than getting healthy, I mean, are you guys preparing to have him, or is it?
Oh, we're preparing to have him, absolutely. He's a day-to-day. We just see how he continues to respond. It's been very favorable, and we're very optimistic.
Houston's coming off of a bye week. Do you feel that because you guys have been playing, you continue to play without a bye week, you think it's to your advantage, or
well,
to Houston's advantage?
It used to be that when you had the bye week, everybody was all excited, and there was everybody was playing power football, and you needed that bye week because it would beat one another up, and it was a cloud of dust and bumps and bruises. But by today's standards, with the spread offenses and less contact and more running, the greatest advantage you have is you get your legs back. But other than that, I think while you're playing, it keeps you warm, keeps you involved, it keeps you focused, and it's probably in our advantage that we are staying involved and doing what we're doing.
So Patterson, with a tough loss like there was on Saturday, is it the fact that it's a rivalry game, is it almost the best medicine that the focus can be easier because it's U of H and the Bayou Bucket?
Absolutely. Those guys live in the same apartments, live across the street from one another. The Bayou Bucket is without a question one of the most prestigious awards you can get in this city. It gives you bragging rights for the year, and it's been back and forth ever since we've been here. So I do know that as far as getting them motivated, motivation is definitely not one of the things we have to be worried about this week. We have to keep them composed.
How about frustration? Is there a certain amount of frustration level with the team you just have to either talk through, or do you feel like they're workers? Or
It was a tough loss, and it becomes distracting. But when you sit down and you look at it, and you talk to the players, they all realize there's some aspect of the game that they got to improve on, and that's what we work on. We work on the little things, and you take a little part of it and you improve on it weekly, and you try to create the whole. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just focusing on the little things that we need to improve on. There's no question that we miss some tackles defensively. There's no question we can do a better job of rallying to the ball from different aspects. But as you look at and I look at it like this, is we went down and we covered quite a few kicks, and we tackled. So we just have to do the same mentality in all other aspects and just realize we cover kickoff, we tackle, and when we play defense, we just tackle too.
how difficult was last week's preparation with Coach Bailiff's mother passing away, and knowing how heavy his heart was? And can you just, as a team, how difficult that was?
I'd have to say that we were very mature group of young men here. And you could definitely see the focus and how much they care about Coach Bailiff. And they all know or knew his mother. she was very visible and a very strong part of this program. And with the maturity we have and the focus and things, I tend to say that they handled it extremely well. They really did. I mean, there was no question. There were no distractions throughout the week. Everybody was where they needed to be. As small as saying everybody made study table, everybody made it to class, everybody was in the weight room, everybody was in meetings on time. I mean, they handled business like young professionals.
Anything else?
Coach.
Well, obviously, offensively, you know, we did some pretty good things the other night. We were able to get the ball down the field some, got the ball, as Coach Patterson mentioned, in the hands of quite a few different receivers, and each one of them took their turns trying to make plays. You know, we talked all week. I think I mentioned here last week, we talked about two things we were going to focus on. One is our preparation, and I thought we did a great job, even with some of the distractions that could have been last week. And the second thing we were going to focus on was our execution. And ultimately, that's what a game and the success in the game comes down to. We had an opportunity with the ball first and goal on the 2-yard line to finish the game and win it right then and there. And we didn't execute as well as we needed to, and didn't have that happen. And, you know, everybody points at the series of events or the chain of things that happened down there with you know, an injury, a helmet popping off, time getting run off, all these kinds of things, and a penalty. And ultimately, it still came down to we had a chance to win the ball game right then and there. We got to execute to get that done. And that'll be our kids' focus this week. You know, I heard the question about whether or not a rivalry game helps you focus. I think right now our kids are so juiced to get this thing back on track that it only helps that it's a team that they love to get back on track against. And so I think they'll come in and watch this and learn what we need to learn, be encouraged by the things that we saw, and be encouraged by the plays that were made, learn from the ones that weren't, and continue to get better, and you know, continue to improve and keep trying to score points and keep trying to score more points. You know, I think just heard that Taylor was named the Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week, and I think he certainly deserves that. But I think there's a slew of guys that go with it. You know, you got guys like Jordan Taylor, who's just coming out of it, I mean, every week and playing, and Vance had a couple big plays, finally got Sam broken loose in the secondary. Dante with a huge catch, I mean, great adjustment on the ball and a great catch. And so, you know, I think our kids will be juiced and ready to roll this week.
They asked about Taylor, and Taylor, you know, obviously you don't know exactly how healthy he'll be, but I would assume you always keep Dreyfus kind of ready to go. You just have to have him a little more ready than normal, I guess. Just.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think anytime a player's day to day, the next guy's going to end up taking more reps just because he's day to day, and there's certain things you don't necessarily want him to do. So that'll be the case. I think you saw the last couple of weeks, Dreyfus has been a part of our game plan anyway. And the nice part is he was able to come in and execute and get us to the tie, and then give us a chance in overtime. I mean, he did well there. Threw some good balls, had some tough breaks, you know, and had some opportunities. Had we been 2 inches closer, or you know, 1 foot further away, and those kinds of things, then you know, it might have turned out differently. But I think he'll prepare the way he always has. That's the beauty of Dreyfus anyway. Even after getting beat out for the spot, he still just kept preparing and ready to go and ready to go and ready to go. And that's what you talk about all the time with these kids, is you never know when that's going to happen. So you better prepare like you're the man. And he does that. He'll be ready to go.
How good was it to get Sam loose? You talked about getting him loose. It seems like when he does something special, it's something special to the team. Can you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Daryl answered the question earlier about how the team responded and the maturity of the team. And, you know, this is a bunch of guys that want each other to have success. There's such a lack of selfishness on this football team that it's fun. I mean, it's great as a coach to be around. It's great as a father to be around, you know, to have my kids around and see that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, it gives it a lift. And I think, you know, certainly there's some things that he can do that you saw him do the other night that it's a big part of our offense when he does. 2 catches for over 100 yards is that's a lot of offense. So the kids are excited about that and the fact that it's Sam having the success that he worked so hard for.
How confident are you guys heading into this one, given the way that you have struggled really on both ends of the ball?
You know, I think it depends on how you look at U of H. If you look at U of H's offense against Louisiana Tech, I don't know that they struggled at all. If you look at their defense against UCLA, creating 6 turnovers, I don't know how much struggle there really is. I think that, I hope our confidence comes from the successes that we're having and that we're building. I think we've gotten better each week. You know, we didn't have any turnovers on. I've never been a part of it. I'll be honest. I mean, 640 something yards and no turnovers is something I've never been a part of. And so I think that's hopefully where we're taking our offensive confidence from. You know, is what we're doing. You know, I haven't looked at enough of U of H to know exactly what they're doing. They played 3 games and kind of 3 different defenses. I should say 3 different game plans. It looks like it. So they're going to tailor that to us, I'm sure. And we can't worry about that. You know, we talk about we want to run the ball when and where we want to, and we want to execute our offense the way we want to, and we're just going to continue to do that.
John, back up the quarterback. Do you have, just what the treatment is, do you go into the week with just Dreyfus getting the reps to give Taylor some time, and then you have to get to a point during the week where, you know, you decide, or I mean, it seems like what Coach Patterson said he'd be able to play probably, but how do you prepare for the week?
Well, obviously, at some point we have to decide. But I don't know when that is. You know, I think the reality is we get them ready. And then as coaches, we do the best we can to decide who gives us the best chance to win. You know, and what happens is we do that every single week at every position. And now, when you're a little bit banged up, you have to factor that in. No different than why didn't Luke Wilson play a little more the other time? Well, he's a little bit banged up, you know, and other guys may have given us a better chance to win. And so I think we just look at it that way, and you prepare them that way. And you try to prepare them, give them as many reps as they can take in their given situation. 2 weeks ago, Charles Ross didn't take a snap till Thursday and had a breakout game against La Tech. And so we'll just, you know, we'll go through the week and kind of see how it goes.
And with Dreyfus, I mean, he's been here for a year plus now. As far as what he can do, I mean, you're confident. I mean, as far, you don't have to simplify, but I mean, it seems like he's been around long enough to run the offense.
There's no question. I mean, Dreyfus understands what we're trying to do. I mean, he's been preparing as the backup quarterback and ready for any kind of situation up until this point, and we haven't prepared him differently. We've just actually given him a little bit bigger role because we brought him in to do some different things. And so I don't have any concerns about how our offense would differ or change regardless of who's back there. Might be Mario Hall, you never know. Thanks.
You know, I know everybody here is looking forward to this game. I've been fortunate enough to be on both sides of this game. I've spent some time at the University of Houston, and so I know how both groups of players approach this. I know how the staffs approach this. So this is a fun game. It's a game that everybody looks forward to, and it's obviously an important game on both teams' schedules. So we're looking forward to competing in this game. Going back to the Marshall game, outstanding quarterback, good receivers, good skilled people. At times, the things that they did, you know, we were able to get them shut down at times. We got a big stop at the end of the game in a crucial situation where we needed it. So that's one of the positives that we'll build on. We had a good start in the game. We got them off the field. We had a couple of good stops in the early part of the second half. So we're building on that. The way defense is now is there's lots of one-on-one tackles, there's lots of open space. Those are the things that we're always working on. Last week there was a big article that Rich Rodriguez and Chip Kelly collaborated on, and they said when they both went to the spread offense, the reason that they went to the spread was the most difficult thing to do in football is to make an open field tackle. And that's the thing where the game is now. The game is just a series of one-on-one tackles, and that's something that we'll continue to work on. Excuse me. We'll keep trying to continue to build depth. We're banged up a little bit on the defensive end. We had Derek Brown come in. We had Broderick Jackson come over out there. We're continually making adjustments for those kind of things. So that's what we're looking at on defense. Offensively, what Houston's doing, they're always schematically, they're always one of the most difficult teams to play that we play all year. They do a great job with tempo. In the first game, amazingly, they ran 129 snaps. They had I think they had 77 runs and like 49 passes against La Tech. So they go fast. They get in and out of formations. They don't substitute a whole lot. When they do, they substitute really quickly. So you've got to be ready for all their different position groups, all their different formations. Their quarterback's solid. Their receivers are good. I know they were banged up a little bit at running back, but we're thinking they're going to be at full strength coming off the bye week. So again, they're a good team. I know Tommy and Travis and those guys over there will have them well prepared, and it'll be a fun game.
I'm going to ask you, Coach, if you kind of talk a little bit about Pilot and Sims and what they bring to that offense.
About what?
About Pilot and Sims and what they bring to that offense.
Well, you know what? I haven't watched them in detail individuals yet. I mean, schematically, I know what they do, and I mean, they bring great ability and great skill. I mean, they're good players, and the thing that they do, they're able to throw the ball down the field. They're able to get multiple looks formation-wise, so they can run the football. They'll get in split back. They'll get in one back. They'll get in empty. They motion people and run the fly sweep, the jet sweep. So they create a lot of problems. They're not a lot different from La Tech and some of the other people that we've played, but they're a major challenge.
Coach, you talk about tackling, and you know that U of H is going to look at the film and they're going to say, okay, we're going to run at them. And how do you, knowing that's been an issue, how do you get the guys up?
What you're always trying to do, or you're always trying to find an overlap player somewhere. And if you're trying to find an overlap player for the running game, you put your people on islands in the throwing game. You can do that some, but the problem is, I mean, it's like Shakespeare said, that's the rub that you're always dealing with. I mean, do you outnumber the run, where you're always secure against the run, and hang people out playing man-to-man coverage? I mean, yeah, you can do that sometimes, but then you have to come off of that. Sure, you have to move around. And the biggest thing on tackling is just like you just got to continue to work on it. Just work on it. That's something that we do every day. We tackle every position on Tuesday and Wednesday, several different drills, and that's just something that we've got to continue to work on. We're no different than anyone else. I mean, everybody in the country, when you talk to them about what's the key to stopping offenses, is they talk about how well do you tackle. Because like if you watched Clemson and Florida State play the other night, for example, I mean, tons of speed on both sides of the ball is that they hang in, and then all of a sudden somebody misses a tackle and down to 40, 50, 60-yard game. And the game used to be different. One of the things that everybody talks about, and it's just the game will never go back, but it's just the way it is. It's people used to talk about game tackling and helmet busting and get to the ball and pursuit angles and all that. Now it's, hey, get the guy down in space. And that's all we're trying to do. We talk about this all the time. Would you rather tackle a guy in a phone booth or in a parking lot? And first of all, we got to explain to our guys really what a phone booth looks like, because most of them have a second one. But if we can reduce that space down, then tackling is relatively easy. It's never easy, but it's easier. If you've got to tackle a great player in a parking lot with a lot of space around you, good luck. And again, we'll roll everybody out there and let them attempt to do that, because again, that's just where the game has changed. And there's some things that we're trying to do. You're trying to reduce angles, trying to do that, but we're like everybody else in the country. And those are the things that we're working on against these offenses. Like, for example, the other night, I don't know if y'all watched this, but Louisiana Monroe against Baylor, they put two quarterbacks in the game at the same time. And now they're running the zone read, and then the guy getting the handoff on the zone read, now he's throwing it. So that's another wrinkle that everybody's going to start adding to their offenses, because all of us are copycats. So that's the next thing we see. So now you've got that. Now you've got the zone read. The way you have to play the zone read is pursue it and chase it down. Now, can I pursue it? Because now this guy might be going to having to catch the ball. So there's always something, which is what makes it fun. So anyway, those are the things we've been working on.
Anything else?
Anything else? Good to see y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you to go to the-